सबसे पहले आप सबको नमस्ते। मेरा नाम है निशांत रहेजा and I am a holistic health practitioner. All the data that I have, that I present to you, is tried and tested on myself first. It is tried and tested on many clients. This is first of all not bro science. Why is it not bro science? Why do I keep talking about insulin and insulin resistance all the time? Why does fasting will really help you reduce your fat substantially and yet your muscle will be intact? Why is that? But I will tell you the science behind it basically. First of all, why insulin? Insulin is a hormone that your pancreas produces when you intake any macronutrient, any food. It can be carbohydrates, it can be protein, it can be fats. In case of carbohydrates, the insulin spike is very high. In case of proteins, insulin spike is moderate. In case of fats, especially saturated fats, the insulin spikes are negligible. ठीक है, तो insulin is something that your body produces, that your pancreas produces to deal with food, right? Now, what is insulin resistance? When you've been eating carbohydrates over the years, sugars, polyunsaturated fats, which is vegetable seed oils, for a period of 10 years or 15 years, say, your insulin levels are so fucking high, your cells become resistant to it. And one of the major drivers, one of the major food item that you've been consuming on daily basis, which is causing insulin resistance, is vegetable seed oils. Any form of seed oil that you're using in your cooking is lethal. Safola, canola, soybean oil, rice bran oil, margarine, these things are very lethal because they lead to the failure of your electron transport chain, which leads to mitochondrial dysfunction. And if you look at all the diseases in the history, it starts with mitochondrial dysfunction. What is mitochondrial dysfunction? It is cell death. Your cell gets tired and it says, I don't want any good food, I don't want anything, I just want rest. Your Krebs cycle doesn't work anymore and your body shifts its metabolism to glycolysis. And I've been getting comments on Facebook saying हमारे clients तो पिज्जा सब कुछ खाते हैं और वो फिर भी fat lose कर रहे हैं. Dude, it is probably because your insulin levels are normal. Calorie in equal to calorie out वाली जो theory है, ये सिर्फ उन लोगों पे काम करती है जिनका body insulin sensitive है. अगर आपका body insulin resistant है already, good food also will not work. Bad food तो bad काम करेगा. It will get deposited into fat, LDL B type mostly, which is a bad cholesterol. Are you getting my point? So understand the science of insulin. And why does insulin behave like this? Because insulin is an anabolic hormone. So it increases the size of endothelial glands in the blood vessels, which increases the blood pressure. Insulin reduces the amount of nitric oxide in the body, which actually affects your vasodilation and pump. Insulin also maintains the supply of aldosterone hormone in your body, which maintains salt-water balance. So if your insulin is high, you are in a deep shit. You're already in a deep shit. All these bad foods that I'm talking about, they're definitely bad, but the good foods will also not work. Yeah? And always remember, insulin sensitive body, which is if your body is producing insulin in the range of 6, 7 or 8 units, it is absolutely fine in a fasted state. One more important thing, the tests that you've been doing, which is fasting glucose or glucose tolerance test, is worthless because your body is still producing insulin to deal with that particular food. The only difference is insulin resistant body will produce a bucket of insulin to take care of this much amount of food. Whereas insulin sensitive body will produce low and nice supply of insulin to deal with that food. You are an insulin resistant person. If you're in a great shape right now and you're consuming foods like pizza, chocolates, any form of processed food if you're consuming, it is going to eventually harm you because it is going to get your insulin high. So the right test would be insulin tolerance test, where you will go to the doctor in a fasted state and they will give you sugar water and they will measure your insulin response for 5 hours. I've made a video on this. So do not go for fasting glucose or glucose tolerance test. They are worthless. And people who want to bully other trainers or other holistic health practitioners, you can do it. But if you really want to understand the science of insulin, if you really want to control your insulin resistance, fasting is the only thing that you can do, because fasting is the only state when you're not eating, your body will not produce insulin. That's why fasting is the solution for insulin resistance. Are you getting my point? You gotta fix your insulin, guys. You gotta fix your insulin. It is the elephant in the room. I have made videos, I've shown data, I've shown correlation, how diseases like obesity, heart disease, cancer, macular degeneration, वो 1902 तक थी ही नहीं. They were not even into the picture till 1902. But when the vegetable seed oil market came into the picture, dude, you've become a hormonally modified Homo sapien after the introduction of particularly vegetable seed oils. Your body can deal with glucose, your body can still deal with sugar, still. But an insulin resistant body will never deal with it properly. It will definitely partition it into fat because the Krebs cycle is not working. So this is not bro science, this is pro science. Okay? Understand about insulin first and then make any comments on social media. So जो लोग फेसबुक पे अटेंशन पाने के लिए रैंडम कमेंट्स करते हैं, ठीक है, एंड दे जस्ट ट्राई टू बुली अदर पीपल हु आर एक्चुअली ट्राइंग टू हेल्प द सोसाइटी, आई एम नॉट एंग्री ऑन दोज पीपल. I actually empathize with them. I really do. These people who believe the fact that you have to spend entire day eating to create muscle, no. If you are going to keep yourself in a fed state, your insulin will always be high and you will never lose fat. In fact, when you're in a fasted state, your body produces growth hormones, so your muscles will be intact. You won't lose muscle in a fasted state. I eat only once a day. Only once a day. I have substantially lost fat. I have substantially gained muscle, and that all in the period of 3 months only. I know the progress is slow because other people are consuming, I don't know what, supplements, steroids, whatever they are consuming. One more thing that I would want to talk about is people who are so proud that they are certified, they have done this, they have done that. What is the use of that certification if you are still recommending 5 meals a day? What is the use of that? You don't know the science of insulin, you don't know the science of insulin resistance, you don't know the science of dopamine resistance. And this is not bro science. Once in a while, an insulin sensitive person can definitely enjoy junk food. Yeah, basically junk food is something which is nutritionally deficient. It doesn't have any macronutrients, it doesn't have any micronutrients that are good for your body. And if you're consuming that, it's dead food. It's dead food. It is not going to help you gain muscle at all, especially if you are insulin resistant. Understand this point. Insulin is something that you should be looking at because this is the root cause of a multitude of a problem. All the diseases, obesity, cancer, heart disease, arthritis, inflammations, name all the modern chronic disease that can come into your mind, and they are linked to insulin resistance. There are graphs, there are studies done over it, how Ansel Keys was responsible for this particular fat hypothesis. Ki fat, if you eat more fat, it is going to get converted into a heart disease, eventually high cholesterol. But Framingham study in 1948 shows that no, cholesterol is not directly related to any of the heart disease. In fact, a follow-up study of Framingham study shows that people with higher cholesterols, LDL-A type particularly, they lived longer. They lived longer. You gotta understand the science of insulin. You have to. If you're a trainer, you're a nutritionist, you're a doctor, you should be aware of insulin resistance first, and it is your duty to make your clients or your patients aware about insulin resistance, because this is going to fix them naturally. No supplementations will be needed, no medications will be needed. Trust me, people are going to get better if they just fix their insulin resistance. If your pancreas is still making insulin and you're consuming these 4 types of foods, vegetable seed oils, refined carbs, sugars and trans fats. If you're consuming these, your insulin is going to increase, and eventually your pancreas will stop making insulin, and that's when you hit the type 5 pattern of hyperinsulinemia. Hyperinsulinemia is insulin resistance only, and you become diabetic at that time. Now your body will not produce insulin at all to deal with the sugar. Now those fasting glucose tolerance test will be used. But excuse me, you've been ill, you've been obese, you've been sick for 10-15 years. You did not, you actually lost the opportunity to cure so many patients. Many people die of heart disease. Many people are dying of these modern disease. And this was a global experiment. Especially the vegetable seed oil experiment was a global experiment done on human civilization. It is an assault on human civilization without our consent. Without our consent. So trainers, nutritionists, doctors, it is your duty to make your people aware of insulin resistance, and trust me, it is going to help you, because they will get better in no time if they understand the science of fasting, high fat diet, moderate protein diet, low carb diet. You can check out my videos, and trust me, it is going to bring you more business only, and they will be better naturally. Please follow the science of insulin resistance. I just request you this. Thank you.